Okay, this screencast is for Andy. Since she's going to be missing, it's going to be probably about 5 minutes or so. I'm going to be covering this beginning of G period, and then as the email stated, the rest of the period is just going to be work time. Okay, so an important skill in calculus is to be able to decompose a function into two simpler functions. So literally, we're trying to go the opposite way of fog. For example, if h of x is 3x minus 1 squared, I could take this whole thing and have it be my first function. So I could have g of x be 3x minus 1. And then if I replace that whole thing with x, I could have f of x be x squared. Remember, we're trying to make fog. So fog is the same thing as saying f of g of x. Notice the g is inside, meaning I want to plug this one into here. That's how I know which one goes where. That's a lot of W's. I apologize. All right, first, find the two functions so that I'm literally plugging g of x into f. So I want to pull out the smaller one, pull out the one that's inside. So I'll have g of x equal x plus 2. All right, and then this leaves me with f of x equaling 1 over x squared. So it's pretty easy to check, right? So if I want to do fog, right, this is literally just f of g of x. I'm going to plug in g of x into f of x. So I have 1 over x plus 2 squared, and that matches what we had. So we know that's right. And this is just to check. We don't have to check every time, but it's just good to try once. Okay, so pause the video, give it a nice shot, and you see, okay, whatever the inner one is, that's what I'm going to have g of x be equal to. So g of x is 5x plus 2. That leaves me f of x being absolute value of x minus 3. This last one is a tiny bit harder. If you look at it, you're wondering, what the heck can I plug in? It'd be nice to have g of x be x squared. Right, because at least then I can plug this in for an x. What that means is, right, so that means f of x has to be something over square root. Okay, so if g of x is x squared, that means I plugged x squared in for x. Okay, so the bottom one, I mean, that just turns into an x minus 1, and then imagine if you plug in an x squared in for x, right, that turns into a square. The problem is, what the heck do I do to the top? Right, so I need the top to be such that when I plug in x squared, it's actually going to be x. So I have to make this a square root. Right, the top has to be square root of x. That way, when I plug this in, square root and square cancel out, and I'll just be left with an x. Okay, so that's it for the lesson. I don't think there's anything else I really need to cover. Honestly, just have to practice, and cool. Hope you feel better, Andy.